Okay, let's jump right in. Take a quick look at your wardrobe, or maybe your favorite underground playlists. Think about that slightly edgy, anti-establishment vibe you've carefully curated. It feels uniquely yours, right? Like a highly personal statement against the mainstream. But as we unpack the aesthetics and habits of modern life in this essay, we're going to explore a deeply provocative idea about how we actually perceive our own consumer habits.
And honestly, it leads to a pretty chilling question. Is your totally unique style, your subversive taste in music, or your rebellious attitude actually just a calculated trap? What if the very things we use to signal our independence from the system are in fact perfectly packaged products sold right back to us by that exact same system? Today we're decoding a really profound critique of modern culture, treating this less like a standard explainer and more like an essay on the illusion of rebellion.
So where does this fascinating theory actually come from? Well, we have to look at Michel Clouscard's 1981 masterpiece, The Capitalism of Seduction. Clouscard was this incredibly visionary French philosopher who decades ago essentially predicted the modern commodification of youth, desire, and rebellion. He didn't just critique the economy, he critiqued the way the economy literally infiltrated our most intimate desires and our very sense of self.
Clouscard lays out this massive historical shift. Think about old capitalism for a second. It was built entirely on discipline, guilt, strict family structures, and pure, relentless production. It was rigid, it was highly moralistic. But then we get new capitalism, and it completely flips the script. It shifted its entire focus to seduction, faux innocence, the literal invention of the teenager, and endless, relentless mass consumption. It's a system that no longer rules by telling you what you can't do, but by intensely encouraging you to do whatever feels good.
Part 1. Seduction as a Strategy: How Capitalism Invented Innocence. This crucial shift is perfectly captured in a pretty bold quote from the text. Capitalism invented innocence. No more guilt, sin, prohibition, or taboo. But the right to enjoy. According to Clouscard, this right to enjoy became the unquestionable mandate of modern society. By removing all those old moral taboos, the system didn't actually free us. It just opened up an infinite new market for desires. You see, you aren't sinning anymore, you're just consuming.
And Clouscard argues that the initiation rite into this new capitalist civilization starts with seemingly totally harmless, innocent objects. Think about the poster on a bedroom wall, the pinball machine at the arcade, the jukebox. I mean, what actually are these? He saw them as the first subtle training grounds for mass, roboticized consumption. You slip in a coin, you press a button, and boom, you get an immediate, mechanized sensory reward. It's basically the school of life for a new consumer, taking them by the hand and teaching them that everyday life is navigated entirely through transactions.
From the jukebox, we eventually graduate to what Clous calls the mundane, the socialite, or the highly socialized lifestyle. This encompasses the clubs, the weekend getaways, the trendy behaviors you see everywhere. He describes this as a synthetic place for ideological realization. Now, what that actually means is that your leisure, your fashion, and your casual social interactions serve as the ultimate mask for economic machinery. You think you're just hanging out having fun, but you're actually actively participating in and reinforcing the dominant economic ideology.
Part 2. The power of frivolity, taking the superficial seriously.
Here, Clouscard explores how the body itself and the signs we choose to wear are used to literally manufacture desire. It's the pret-a-porter, the ready-to-wear of desire, the fast fashion, the suggestive imagery, the highly curated style. It's all part of a beautifully packaged aesthetic of seduction. He writes something really striking here. It is the frivolous that allows access to the total understanding of the serious. Think about discos, rock music, weekend trips to Ibiza, recreational drugs. Actually, scratch that. Think about any form of modern escapism. Clouscard argues we absolutely must take these things seriously. They aren't merely cultural side effects or harmless fun, they are the very engine of modern ideological control. They act as the bridge between the world of production and the world of consumption, keeping the capitalist wheels turning while making us feel like we're totally liberated.
Part 3. The potlatch of surplus value, the ultimate luxury of destruction.
Now, the potlatch of surplus value is a dense concept, but it borrows from anthropology. A traditional potlatch is a ceremony where wealth is deliberately destroyed or given away just to show off status. Clouscard applies this directly to modern capitalism. He argues that wasting resources, trashing things, or engaging in extreme excess is just a brand new way for society to flaunt its power and completely hide the underlying economic exploitation. It's the ultimate sign of status, really, having so much that you can afford to literally destroy it.
He structures this whole critique around what he calls the three capital sins of our civilization. First up, the false innocence we just talked about, a society built on sensuality but without any responsibility. Second, this potlatch of surplus value, the active, deliberate wasting of resources as a lifestyle choice. And third, the machinic civilization, where even our leisure time and our deepest desires are essentially standard, robotized, and mechanized. It's this hidden link between our human libido and standard machine-like consumption.
Clouscard absolutely hits the nail on the head here. The extraordinary power of capitalism has been to offer this supreme luxury, exaction or destruction, to the first comer. This is wild when you think about it. The act of breaking the rules, of wasting, of being a rebel or a punk who smashes the system was completely democratized. Capitalism took the supreme luxury of destruction, which historically used to belong only to aristocrats, and sold it right back to the masses as a lifestyle. Even the rebel smashing a guitar on stage is, at the end of the day, generating profit.
Part 4. The End of Romance. From the Psyche to the Show Business Vedette.
So, what does this all mean for human connection? Well, Clouscard contrasts historical traditional romance with our modern transactional culture. The old order of love in Western culture was built entirely around the psyche, the tragic couple, courtly love, the deep and often painful quest for recognition between two people, kind of like Tristan and Isolde. But the hyper-capitalist drive for seduction completely replaced this with the new order of clubs. This is the world of show business, VIP sections, and what he really provocatively calls a prostitution aesthetic, where every single interaction is just a calculated exchange of status, youth, and money. And right at the center of this new club order is La Vedette, or the star. The star is the ultimate product of the leisure and pleasure industry. In this environment, traditional, genuine human connection is totally replaced by artificial mediators. The star represents this kind of monstrous marriage where love and money seamlessly merge together in the spotlight. You no longer have tragic, profound love. Instead, you have successful PR, networking, and the aesthetic of success. The human being literally becomes a perfectly marketable brand.
Which brings us to the ultimate aestheticization of subjectivity. It's a pretty profound realization that even our most intimate desires, our social democratic ideals, our youth culture, and our so-called liberation are all aestheticized. They're turned into styles, into moods, into vibes, and then sold right back to us by the exact same machinery we firmly believe we're rebelling against.
So we end with this lingering, powerful question that echoes Clouscard's warning from over 40 years ago. Are your ready-to-wear desires actually your own? Have your tastes, your rebellions, and your deepest passions been prepackaged and handed to you? It's a truly provocative thought that forces us to re-examine not just the economy, but the very fabric of our own lifestyles. Thank you for joining me for this essay. I hope it leaves you questioning the world around you just a little bit more.